This is Mr. Smith. Together with his family, he recently moved into a new house. Only the house doesn't have a carport yet. Mr. Smith would like to solve this problem quickly before winter sets in and is thinking about building a carport. But after the stress of the move, he doesn't want to deal with having a large building site on his property. That's why he's considering the simplest way to anchor the carport in the ground. He asks his local builder's merchant about an alternative to a concrete foundation. The solution? KRINNER ground screws. Their function is comparable with that of a screw which is driven into wood, but instead of wood, the large screws are screwed directly into the ground. Mr. Smith decides to anchor his carport with 6 ground screws. Depending on the size of their foundation, he can borrow a suitable hand screw machine from his builder's merchant and use it to drive in the screws himself. This would do the job for Mr. Smith's carport. For larger ground screws, the builder's merchant would have to come to the house himself with a self-propelled screw machine. Although it's raining on the setup day, the 6 ground screws are in the ground after just half an hour, and there's no digging or concreting involved. Mr. Smith immediately begins mounting his carport on the U-profiles because the ground screws can bear loads right away. That same day, he can park his car in a dry space. Mr. Smith is delighted. In comparison to a concrete foundation, he saved time and money. His carport is very stable, and its anchoring will have a long lifespan. The area around the carport, his garden, remains unaffected. And because he's so pleased, he immediately starts thinking about what else he could build around the house using ground screws. For example, a wooden terrace, a garden fence, or the swing that his kids would like to have. KRINNER, the ground screw.